This video from a store in North Houston shows a clerk as he faces 4 robbers with guns aimed right at his face. The robbers then empty the register and steal some cigarettes. The clerk was not hurt, thankfully.
But if you know who these men are...
I work at the gas station in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, and something really creepy happened there last night. When I started my shift at 8 o'clock, the store was super quiet. I thought it was going to be an easy night because not many people use this road anymore. There used to be more traffic here until a new freeway was built about 10 years ago. After that, a lot of businesses closed down, leaving behind empty buildings that locals hung out in. Around 11 o'clock, with only 1 hour left in my shift, I decided to do some work instead of just sitting around. I'm 18 and I work alone most of the time, which is usually fine with me as long as I can get my work done. But last night was different. I realized we were almost out of barbecue chips, so I had to go down to the basement to get some more. I've always hated going down there because it's dark and creepy. I don't know why the owner keeps stuff down there. As I was going down the stairs, I heard something fall on the other side of the room, and it sounded like someone was walking towards me. I ran back up the stairs and locked the basement door, freaking out the whole time. When I got back upstairs, I went behind the counter to check the security cameras. I looked at the one for the basement, and there was this guy standing there, smiling at the camera. His eyes looked really crazy, but he didn't look like the usual people around here. He was clean-shaven and wearing jeans and a button-up shirt. He seemed normal, but because he was down there, smiling at the camera, it scared me a lot. I called the store owner, and at first, he was mad that I called him so late. But when I told him what happened, he said he would come over there right away. He told me to lock the main door and make sure that the guy didn't go anywhere. I asked if I should call the police. He said not to do that just yet. So I locked the door and went back to watch the guy on the camera. He was still there, smiling up at me. After a few minutes, he disappeared from the camera. My boss came with a loaded shotgun, and we went down there to the basement to look for the guy, but we didn't find anything. He said I was just probably tired and imagined the whole thing, but I know what I saw. Now I'm really scared to go back to work tonight. This whole thing just really freaked me out, and I needed to tell somebody about it. Some time ago, around mid-November 2021, I was working the night shift at my local 7-Eleven. My coworker was busy in the back cooking chicken, while I was at front taking care of customers and ensuring all of our paperwork was done. Suddenly, I heard the alarm go off, signaling that someone had entered the store. I turned around to greet the customer, but before I could react, I saw a dark figure rush through the door and disappear down an aisle. Initially, I assumed it was just a customer in a hurry, maybe needing to use the restroom. However, I realized they hadn't passed any aisles leading to the restroom. Curious, I searched the store but found no trace of anyone. It was as if they had vanished into thin air. About 5 to 10 minutes later, a woman entered the store, wandering down each aisle as if looking for someone. She called out a name, Wesley, but left without finding whoever she was looking for. After that odd night, things returned to normal until 3 days ago. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, except for a strange incident where I heard banging from one of the halls in the kitchen. However, since one of the bathrooms is located on the other side of the wall, I brushed it off as possibly just a customer in the restroom, which isn't uncommon. Fast forward to Thursday, January 20th, when I was once again working the night shift. As I was completing my end shift paperwork, I glanced out the window facing the gas pumps. To my surprise, the till for pump 1 indicated that someone had pressed the request help button, even though there was no one in sight. The entire lot was empty, except for a few cars belonging to other night shift workers from neighboring stores. Needless to say, I quit my job a few weeks after that incident. Working the night shift at a local gas station at the age of 19 was often uneventful, but Christmas Eve of that year would prove to be anything but normal. The late hours from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. were usually quiet, with few customers and plenty of time for cleaning and restocking shelves. On this particular night, as I was nearing the end of my tasks and enjoying a brief break outside for a cigarette, the tranquility of the night was shattered by the sound of footsteps approaching the station. Initially, I thought nothing of it. I assumed it was just another late-night customer needing to refuel. As the figure drew closer, I couldn't help but notice something off-putting about him. He was a man of average height, dressed in a dark hoodie and jeans, with blood visibly trickling down from a wound on his forehead. My instincts immediately went on high alert, but I tried to remain calm and assess the situation. When he finally reached the pumps, he looked at me with a vacant expression and mumbled words that sent chills down my spine. "You wanna help? Then don't call the cops." Despite the warning signs, I couldn't bring myself to turn him away without at least offering assistance. After all, it was Christmas Eve and I couldn't bear the thought of leaving someone in need out in the cold. I retrieved the first aid kit from inside the store and cautiously approached him, asking if he needed medical attention. He seemed reluctant at first, but eventually agreed to let me help him with his wound. As I tended to his injury, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that lingered in the air. As if on cue, he suddenly excused himself to use the restroom, leaving me alone with my thoughts. It was then that I made the decision to call for help. I discreetly dialed 911 and explained the situation to the dispatcher, who instructed me to stay outside and await the arrival of law enforcement. Time seemed to crawl by very slow as I waited anxiously for the police to arrive. When they finally pulled up to the station, I breathed a sign of relief, hoping that the worst was behind me. Little did I know, the true danger had yet to reveal itself. As the officers entered the store to confront the man in the restroom, a sense of dread washed over me. Moments later, chaos erupted as he burst out holding a knife, intent on causing harm. The officers reacted swiftly, apprehending him before he could carry out his violent intentions. It was only after the dust had settled and the man was taken into custody that I learned the full extent of the danger I had narrowly escaped. According to the officers, he had planned to rob the store and harm me in the process. The blood on his forehead was not just a mere accident, but rather a result of a violent altercation with his drug dealer earlier that night. As I processed the gravity of the situation, a wave of fear and gratitude washed over me. fear of what could have happened had the police not intervened in time, and gratitude for their swift action that undoubtedly saved my life. To this day, the memory of the terrifying encounter haunts me, serving as a stark reminder of the importance of staying vigilant and trusting your instincts in times of crisis. It's a night I'll never forget, etched forever in my mind as a reminder of the thin line between safety and danger.